So how's it going? In today's video, we're going to answer the question of how do you learn the piano? Now, this video is targeted for adult beginners who are looking at starting and don't know where to begin. Maybe you've played a few songs, you've learned a few things, but you don't really know how to take it to the next level. So this video is targeted at my friend who's recently reached out to me and asked me that he wants to learn the piano. And I wanted to explain to him a few of the key skills that we need to learn when it comes to playing the piano. Now, these skills are all intertwined, they're all similar, and they have an overlap, but each of them are individual and they target different areas of the music learning field that you need to learn to expand in a certain way. However, if you want to learn certain things, it depends on what your goal is as opposed to just learning all of them, right? So um, what those skills are, for example, the finger techniques. That means like being able to play fast, right? So, for example, if you want to be able to be a performer, then you would want to be able to, very, very simple, basic thing, but to be able to play scales, or arpeggios or whatever. I think when people approach learning the piano, they don't sometimes have a clear idea of what they want, right? Unless it's I want to play, songs. I want to learn how to play Furelese. So this video is more targeted at the person who does want to learn how to play those kind of things. However, there are different skills, for example, learning how to improvise and compose, which require a different set of skills a little bit, but they're built on the same thing. So let's get into it. What goal you want determines what skills you need, right? So to perform confidently, in my experience, what's really important are these three essential things. This is what is broken down to. So the first thing is to have capable fingers and technique, to have good dexterity. It means you can play fast, your fingers are responsive, those kinds of things. We'll come back to that in a second. Number two is to be able to play independently and to read and study sheet music. So when you're working with a teacher, the teacher will guide you through the music. However, at some point, if you want to learn your own music, it's useful to have that ability within yourself to be independent and to be able to take a piece of music. Now you've got the internet, so you can Google it and YouTube it and find if there's any little problems. But in general, to be an independent self-starter and to be able to find the music, study the music, and polish it either yourself or with the help of a teacher or a friend. Yeah, and that obviously brings us up onto the third point, which is once you learn that music, to be able to perform it. So let's get right into it. The first key skill, which I always teach my students, is finger technique. So there's a few aspects to this. First of all, we've got the proper hand posture, proper setup, piano stool, piano on the correct height. I'm just adjusting myself because I'm feeling that I'm a little bit too close to the piano right now. The mistake that some students make is that they start off by coming a little bit too close to the piano. They're scooted up way too close. In actual fact, we actually prefer to be a little bit further away from the piano. We prefer to be like this. So now you've got this nice kind of big space between your chest and the piano. I have this lot of space to move when I'm playing. Proper hand posture, that's really important. So that's the way that your hands are placed on the keys. Okay, you don't want to have flat fingers and stuff like that. So learning the correct technique is something that we'd work on. Finger dexterity and speed. So this is one of those things where I use those finger exercises. So for example, those kinds of exercises, this is from a composer called Hannon. They improve the speed, but also just doing the scales like I showed. Those things improve your speed, improve your ability. Learning certain music can also have a remedial effect on that. Yeah, and you learn that through exercises and scales. So that's part one of my magical formula, is learning how to play on the instrument, actually building a relationship and actually getting good at using the instrument, right? Putting your energy into the instrument. There's number 2, which is aural skills. So aural skills are also really important. These help us to identify certain sounds. So for example, la la, la la, that's a perfect 4th. La la, that's a perfect 5th. Yeah. So aural skills are also a really important part of the piano learning equation. However, I usually put them off a little bit. There's different methodologies, like for example, Suzuki or Kodali method, which are designed for young children, and they teach aural skills like actually as one of the first skills. So there's different approaches, and maybe you do want to do this. I think these are very useful to learn because they help with hearing and identifying certain sounds in music. So if you heard that in music, you'd be like, well, that's a major chord. You can learn this through apps like Music Theory or this Ear Trainer app. Next, very important skill is reading sheet music. I think this might be one of the most important ones in my opinion. A lot of people maybe they disregard it. Maybe they just want to go from those silly YouTube tutorials with the notes falling down from the top. And you can follow those videos. In my opinion, it's really useful to learn how to read sheet music because you have access to the whole library of all music ever written. All music ever written, you will most likely find the sheet music for, unless it's some modern or like electronic music that's not really gone through the sheet writing process because that's electronic music. But yeah, without beating around the bush, sheet music is amazing because that's the skill where you can have the music in front of you, learn a classical song like. So like that I learned because I bought the sheet music, I put the music in front of me and started going through it little by little. Okay, performing. This is a very, very important skill. Actually, maybe more important than the sight reading skill because you can learn music somehow. But if you can't perform it well, confidently, then there's kind of no point, right? So you want to be able to take a piece of music, look at it, understand it, analyze it, read it, play it, and then have the right skills to learn it, to digest it, to absorb it, to practice it if there's a problematic area, to learn how to zoom in and find the problem and perform it. And then of course, and to correct it, and of course then to perform it in front of an audience, as that's probably the most important skill. Is that the reason that people kind of want to learn the piano is, at some point you're going to enter into a nice area, someone's home, and they're going to have a piano, and they're going to be like, hey, you can play the piano, right? And you want to be able to just, whip out your. So the piano genius method is essentially the knowledge that I've gained packed into one little package for fast, accelerated music learning, which is number 1, you need to learn how to do finger exercises to get your fingers fast, to get your hand coordination together. Number 2, learning how to read sheet music. And number 3, choosing fun repertoire. And that's really important, to pick out songs which are going to be inspiring for you to learn and that you're going to memorize and learn how to play very confidently. So if you'd like to, you can book in a session via the link below, and I'd love to teach you more about the piano and show you what kind of offers I have available. So I really hope you enjoyed this basic introductory video on how to learn the piano. If you have any further questions or ideas, I'd love to get them. I'd love to hear them and kind of to take this further, because this is like a very, very surface level. I'm just scratching the surface of learning the piano, and there's so much more depth to it. Not just learning the piano, but understanding music theory and how music is structured. And I love that. I love that so much. I love just talking about music theory and chords and harmony and stuff like that. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it kind of helped you to get a little bit of insight onto the things that you need to learn to get better on the piano. Obviously, one of the most important things, which maybe I missed from this presentation, is you must be willing to practice, and you must be willing to put in the work to keep coming back to the piano, keep learning, keep pushing yourself, and expanding your mind, expanding the music that you can play. And it's a process, but it's a process that's very worth it, and it's really, really satisfying to be able to play beautiful music well, perform it in front of people, to an audience, and enjoy that pleasure of presenting your music to people. It's something that I'm really passionate about. And yeah, all right, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you later. Bye.